Now, on Thursday, Russia, the West and Ukrainian leaders reached a deal aimed at ending the conflict in eastern Ukraine. But tonight, that deal appears to be in tatters. There's no agreement on the number of deaths nor who was responsible. But Russian separatists claim that 5 people were shot and killed when Ukrainian nationalists attacked a pro-Russian checkpoint. The Ukrainian side says that Russian special forces were behind the clash. The incident took place in the far east of the country, 60 miles from the regional capital of Donetsk, in the separatist stronghold of Slaviansk, the site of violent clashes earlier this week. And I should warn you, Jane Deith's report contains some images you may find distressing.
We don't know exactly what happened at the checkpoint manned by pro-Russian protesters in the middle of the night. But there are 2 bodies in this truck. It's not clear whose. This Russian separatist says gunmen killed 3 of those with him on the road.
People jumped out of jeeps and started shooting at us. They threw stun grenades. Our people started running in various directions when somebody shouted "down." And a sniper was shooting those who tried to run into the village.
Russian television claims the men were shot by the Ukrainian far-right group, Right Sector, saying the discovery of their things, like this business card, is proof. Ukraine's police force says the pictures are staged, and the gun attack was staged too, by Russian elements hoping to provoke violence. Pro-Moscow separatists have been defying Kiev's rule here in the east, where they say Russian speakers need protecting from Ukrainian nationalists. Today, the self-declared mayor of Slaviansk sounded like he was declaring war.
Until today, these were just clashes with minimal losses. But now, no one can expect any mercy from us.
He called for President Putin to send him peacekeepers and weapons. So much for the Easter truce and the deal in Geneva last week, in which Ukraine and Russia promised illegal armed groups would go home. No one's budged. After Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula, Kiev fears President Putin wants another slice of Ukraine.
He intends to restore the Soviet Union, and he was very clear saying this stuff in his State of the Union a few years ago. And I believe that you do remember his speech, famous Munich speech, saying that the biggest disaster of the former century is the collapse of the Soviet Union. I consider that the biggest disaster of this century would be the restoring of the Soviet Union under the auspices of President Putin.
The US is warning Moscow there'll be more sanctions unless pro-Russia militia put down their guns. Russia says today's shootings show Kiev is unwilling to disarm extremists. Meanwhile, the pro-Russian rebels have ordered a curfew in Slaviansk tonight.